The Kansas City Chiefs offense hasn't gotten off to the start that they would like to after their beginning win against the Baltimore Ravens. It's been a bit of a tough go, and the defense has stepped up in their presence. Now, coming off of allowing the Atlanta Falcons only 17 points in this game, when you have such an experienced defensive coordinator in Steve Spagnuolo that knows exactly what he's doing, you get plays and performances like they were against the Atlanta Falcons. If not for a couple of miscommunications, a blown coverage, honestly a tackle of Kirk Cousins that shouldn't have been roughing the passer, we're talking about maybe 3 or 7 points on the board for the Atlanta Falcons. This is the lasting image from this football game. Chamari Connor handing off the ball to Jalen Watson to continue after his interception. One of the better moments, shows you exactly how heads up this entire team is in the moments, in the big clutch moments. And then that's exactly why the Chiefs walked away on Sunday Night Football with the victory against those Atlanta Falcons. Welcome into the RGR Football Channel, everybody. My name is Daniel Harms, Senior Film Analyst, and today we are talking about the defensive performance, not just from Chamari Connor, but Nick Bolton, a couple of plays from Tershawn Wharton, and how they were able to stop this Falcons rushing attack before it got started. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that sub button right now and then allow me to earn a like from you as we get into this film room and talk about all the different ways that the Chiefs really dismantled the plan for the Atlanta Falcons. The very first thing, like I said, we're going to talk about is how they were able to get after it in the run game. Go back to week 9 from 2023, where the Chiefs knew that the Miami Dolphins were going to want to set the tone with outside zone, right? We remember that game. We're talking about the talking points of the getting all of the technical parts of the defense. Well, they're not very good at run stopping. How are they going to do this? How are they going to have the mentality to come in and do that? Well, guess what? The Chiefs came in and they were physical, not just physical at the point of attack, but everybody doing their part, getting backward push. George Karlaftis, boom, taking that right tackle into the backfield. And now, again, the running back is trying to get here. He wants to get here, but you have guys flashing to the outside. But generally, what the Falcons want to do is they want that horizontal push. They want the entire defense to get out in front of them, and they want them to go this way. They want all of this motion this way so that Bijan Robinson can cut back across that formation and make big plays. But you'll notice that the Chiefs defense was very sound in their backside approach, but also Nick Bolton and guys up front were just finding those spaces in the offensive line, in those cutback lanes to make huge plays. So right now you want to look at Chris Jones. Chris Jones, not a run defender, right? Well, guess what? Today he's a run defender. He's going to flash to the outside right here. George Karlaftis is flashing to the outside. Again, we're trying to see Bijan Robinson come out here to the side. Nick Bolton, all right, well, I'm just going to zip through here, one of these holes, and I'm just going to come underneath, and he takes out this guy right here. He's going to blow right through on number 67 and then get into the backfield right there and make a tackle for loss on Bijan Robinson. It's a mental state. Playing defense, getting after it in the run game is a mental state. You have to be physical. You have to want to make these tackles. You have to want to get after it. And they absolutely did. And like I said, these plays, they even added a little bit of a jet sweep lead into this. And while this play wasn't negative for the Chiefs, it was hugely important. How many times did we see the Falcons get 4-5 yards on first down and then nothing after that? It's about limiting the explosive plays. They did such a great job of not allowing Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier to make huge game-sweeping 15, 20-yard gains in the run game. And they did it with just being sure in their, sound in their development and tackling. And also at times where you get a little bit of cutback lanes, like you got right here, they all floated the football. They did a really nice job of disengaging. Mike Danny here coming off of his block when he recognizes that we've got Bijan Robinson coming across again. You have guys eyes in the backfield, all flashing to that opposite side. You've got a little bit of overflow maybe from Nick Bolton here, maybe a little bit, but he's also trying to be really aggressive in the run game, and that's fine. totally okay with how he was addressing this football game, but you do see how the cutback lanes are designed to be formed. They want him, again, maybe pressing a little bit less on this specific play, but they want him getting here with the overflow of the defense cutting back this way, right? That's all they want to do. They want to get Bijan into these gaps and into these zones. But what they did, again, watching Mike Dana right here, who's got eyes right there, and then he's going to disengage this way into that gap. Really nice job of stopping, getting back over it, and then making the tackle. Limit the big plays, figure out how you're going to continue to get after it in this run game. Nick Bolton, hats off. One of the best performances of the season for him, actually the best performance of the season for him. This is the kind of game that he lives for. He is a run-stopping merchant. He's so good at recognizing scheme and the proper gaps to attack and the plays when they're coming at you. So right here, you're going to see him come down to the line of scrimmage with that motion, but he recognizes this is going to be an interior designed play. It's going to be a little bit of duo from the Atlanta Falcons. So duo just means you're trying to get as many double teams across the offensive line as you can. So you've got a double team here, and because of the nature of where the Chiefs defense is in this situation, you're going to have 63 and 77 go at GK. And then you have got a one-on-one here in the middle. So that's 5 offensive linemen designated to 3 defensive players on the interior of this line for the Chiefs. So Nick Bolton, once again, recognizing this play is coming through here, trying to get to the middle, and then again, bounce. Bolton's going to come down because he's like, look, Ray McLoud is not blocking me. He's not blocking me. So he comes up underneath, gets in between to the C gap between the tackle and that receiver right there, Ray McLeod. He's not going to block me. So I'm coming downhill. I see this play coming, and I'm just going to get in there and tackle Bijan Robinson. That's the kind of play that he's always lived by, and one of the things that he's so good at, the smarts combined with that downhill acceleration and then the short tackling, is what makes him such a good run stopping linebacker. And it's the reason, that mental part, that mental side is such a huge reason why he's going to probably be in Kansas City for a long time. I don't think that Steve Spagnuolo and everyone else want him out of the building, especially if he wants to be there and they want him there, because we know that they definitely do. They've got a little toss here with the left tackle, coming out here. And this one's Tyler Algier. So he's going to toss out to the left-hand side of the offense. Secondary has to get involved. Secondary has to get involved. You have to trigger downhill quickly. You got to shift down, and then Nick Bolton getting out there as well. You have to attack the edges because that's what they want to do. They want to attack the edges. One thing that we know, again, going back to that Miami game, is that the Chiefs have very good exterior speed. Their corners are physical. They want to get involved in the run game, and they're not afraid to. And that's what you love to see from everybody around. Chamari Connor here, we're going to talk about him here in a little bit because I tell you what, Chamari Connor had himself a game. But in this game for Nick Bolton, he had 8 tackles with 46 snaps. He played 74 snaps against the Baltimore Ravens, 100% of the snaps. He played 82% of the snaps in this game. Obviously, he missed some because of the injury that he sustained coming back later. So you have Nick Bolton in this football game with 7 defensive stops. What those are plays that end up being positive for the defense. Losses, 0-yard gains, 1-yard gains, 2-yard gains. Those are all positive for the defense. But again, right here, you see Chamari Connor getting to the outside, Jalen Watson coming downhill being effective in the run game as well, and Nick Bolton just preparing. I have this gap here. You're going to keep going outside, and there's nothing you can do about it. So really nice job all around there. And then he had also what are known as 2 hustle stops. Nick Bolton did. Hustle stops are where you cover 20 or more yards to get a tackle. Now, all these stats are coming from NFL Pro. If you guys don't know, that's the newest all 22 format where I'm getting a lot more advanced statistics from them, and they're far more reliable. So I'm going to be using that more. We're going to be using their film as we continue throughout the season because it's the best. It's up early, and these stats are far better, and we're going to continue to get better statistics from NFL Pro. So I'm very excited about where we're going to go with this. But this is, again, Nick Bolton continuing one of those defensive stops. But there's another huge element to this game where Chamari Connor combining with Nick Bolton was such a huge thing. Look at where he's lined up, Chamari Connor. Here he is on the line basically because you've got Drake London right there attached, quote unquote, attached to the offensive line. And this is where he's going to be. He's going to be getting to the outside. Also, watch George Karlaftis. This guy right here. What the Falcons, what they're trying to do again is they're trying to get to the outside. So they're trying to block down outside zone here, block down, and number 63 is also going to come block down. I do think he ended up tripping the right tackle here because it's supposed to be a double team to the next level. Someone's supposed to be able to block and get off their block to the second level to stop Nick Bolton from doing what he does, but it doesn't end up happening. You see, it looks like he tried to go around him really quickly, like he tried to loop into this gap, but he ends up pushing him down almost. George Karlaftis disposes of that player into the ground. Nick Bolton follows across with Chamari Connor getting to the outside again, flashing to the outside, forcing those running backs back inside to your help defense is so vitally important to all of this. Look at how physically he plays with a tight end. There's a tight end. He is getting out there and he's doing a really good job of just flashing. Like, you can't come out here. You are forced to come back to the middle of the field where my linebacker is waiting for you. And that's all because Chamari Connor does a fantastic job in this football game, forcing Tyler Algier to come back in to Nick Bolton for the loss on the play. And Chamari Connor, guys, like we talked about, we're going to have ourselves a really big conversation. I don't think he's clearly not a pure slot. Okay. He's not a pure slot, but where they have him playing, he's essentially an extra linebacker on the field for the Chiefs. And how he recognizes this toss play to Bijan Robinson, gets in there and then makes the short tackle again for a 1.5, 2 yard gain. That's a win for the defense. So you've got the corn dog action motion come down from the wide receiver here. Darnell Mooney comes down, goes back out, and they're going to do the same thing they did on the last play that we saw, the toss play. They're going to try to get Bijan to the edge, but the quick recognition from Chamari Connor as he's backpedaling, right? He's backpedaling here, and then that's the wrong color, sorry. He's backpedaling, sees the ball, and he's just going to undercut this block right here and get into the backfield. We know that Chamari Connor is not the best tackler in the world, but I think when he makes plays like this, it's based on speed, instincts, and that's where you get more oomph behind the tackles. So this is a really great trigger downhill from Chamari Connor, who wants to hit people. He wants to be physical, and he can do that in the run game. He's showing you that he can do all of these different things. This is his best performance as a pro, with 10 tackles, 6 defensive run stops, 2 pass breakups, and an interception. All of those from Chamari Connor after a game where he had a fumble recovery touchdown, a sack, and a tackle for loss. Okay? He's having a fantastic start to the season. And then again, where he's lined up as this extra force defender on the defensive line, because you have a condensed formation on the offense. He's just going to be physical. He's going to outwork whoever's blocking him. And this is another really good example of, you can't get to the outside. I know you want to. We know you want to. The offense is going to run outside zone. That's what they want to do. And here we are again. This is such a well-coached job from the Chiefs. And they're going to block down again, and they're trying to get Chamari Connor to not be involved. So you want him to be blocked up, essentially. But we've got a wide receiver on Chamari Connor who's going to be more physical. And this is where we talk about getting to the back. Flash to the outside, force yourself back in, or the running back back into the middle of the defense. Like I'm repeating it over and over again because it's such a vital, important part. And that's what they did on every single outside zone, every single outside play for the Falcons. They could not run the football effectively all night, it seemed. And this is just a fantastic job getting him back in there. And Chamari Connor doing this with George Karlaftis is exactly how you want, right? So watch right here. Here is your George Karlaftis. And what the Falcons want to do, we talked about the cutback lanes, but this is how they're going to try and do it. They're going to get a cut block. They're going to try and get a cut block here on George Karlaftis. And when they do that, they want Bijan again to press, and then pop. So he'll be right back here into this lane. That's what they were trying to do. Create that cross-section movement from the defense with the outside zone feel. Get back in that cutback lane. That's what they're looking for here. And GK does a really nice job of fighting through it and getting over it. Yes, it is legal for those cut blocks. The big thing about cuts is that you can't initiate contact and then go for the legs, and it can't be downfield. Like, it has to be in a certain amount of time. If someone has a better explanation of that, you go ahead and put it in the comment section. But as long as you're not engaging first as an offensive lineman and then going for the legs, you're fine. So he goes for the legs first. George Karlaftis takes it on, is able to get through it. And then because Chamari Connor gets outside and forces him back maybe before he wanted to, right there, he's flashed already. He's like, I'm in the hole. You can't do anything about it. So he has to stop, avoid the defender, or the offensive player who fell down. And then you've got Chamari Connor and George Karlaftis in the backfield combining for a loss. Great strategy from Steve Spagnuolo and Joe Cullen and everybody, Dave Merritt, getting these guys prepared for this football game. I can't express to you how important it was for them to get after them in the run game, and that is exactly what they were able to do. And look at where Chamari Connor is now. Again, basically playing a little bit of linebacker. He played a little bit of linebacker. He played a little bit on the edge. He played a little bit in the safety. He was everywhere for this football team, and I'm very excited about what he's going to do. So you've got him kind of turning around here, and then the responsibility understanding. He takes away a big play from the offense here because he recognizes what's happening. The Falcons are trying to get Drake London on this over route right here, this in route over the middle of the field. And they do a really nice job of trying to get confusion out, because you've got like in routes from this outside player, or excuse me, a stop route. You've got a corner route from Darnell Mooney coming in or behind it. And they create this cross right here where Chamari Connor's in trail behind Darnell Mooney right here because he's in the slot. But then, his eyes see, all right, I have to take him because, again, we have this much middle of the field. This is where Kirk Cousins wants to throw the football. The Chiefs are getting some pressure, but they're not disengaging, so he can still have time to throw this football. If Drake London clears the middle of the field, Chamari Connor stops and says, no, you can't. Granted, at the same time, it doesn't matter. So if Connor does not grab him coming across the middle of the field right here, this is going to be a first down for Kirk Cousins, who's getting out of the pocket at this point, at least in theory. I haven't seen Kirk really accurately throw a ball on the move a ton, but even with Justin Reed coming downhill there's enough space for him to create that. So Chamari Connor takes away a big play from the Falcons offense, who had what they really wanted, but because he understands, I see this guy coming, even though my shoulders are to the opposite sideline, I have to stop and take this over. So really nice job. Again, they blitz Nick Bolton on this play, so you got 5, and I really do think that you have a lot of different things going on in the back end. But just really quickly, let's get back here, because this is what they also had to deal with pretty much all night. The Falcons, they had to deal with, wait, nobody's open. I can't throw anywhere. Everyone is on lockdown. They even had to do a lot of this where you're bringing in, it's only the only 4 guys running a route. You have Bijan Robinson in there trying to protect a lot in this football game because of Steve Spagnuolo and the way that they blitz. So this was a penalty on the offensive line, hands to the face for against Mike Dana. So again, just showing the different ways that the Chiefs were able to lock them down. And now we've got Chamari Connor in the slot against Ray McLoud. This is where I thought the matchup would have been more difficult for him, but the physicality at the top of the route, he withstands it, doesn't get moved, and he does. Ray McLeod gets open over the middle of the field, but this is another showcasing, he's able to make some plays, and he can make it in a variety of different ways. Nice pass breakup right here, following through on the tackle. That's really, really important. Just as a side note here, guys, that's just really quickly. I posted this on Twitter, but I want you to take note of one. The ball is being snapped. Nobody on the defensive line outside of Chris Jones is moving. I understand, but FAU does a nice job here. He actually is showcasing a little bit more pass rush upside, really clean rip wind right here. And then he does a better job of trying to get down the line. And if this ball doesn't come out, Chris Jones is there and FAU is there, both for probably a split sack on this. And it would have been a sack and a half on the day for my guy, FAU. So we're seeing a little bit of development there. But back to Chamari Connor really quickly, because this is what he's kind of developing into somebody who some of the shiftier players are going to get him from time to time, but this is a really good explanation and showcasing of how even if you are behind the play, you can still make up with effort and just technique. He's not the best tackler in the world, but he threw his arms at or around the waist of Raymond McLeod and forces the ball out. So really nice job there on an open route where they're trying to clear out the middle of the field once again and bring an in route to the middle. They did a very nice job there. Oh, excuse me. So this is really where he's going to get picked on a little bit, or he's in the middle of the field, and it's not Drake London this time. Drake London's not the quickest guy out of the reduced split or the slot, so it's done on Mooney, who gives him a really quick head fake and pump to the inside or to the outside, and then crosses his face. This is what we knew about Chamari Connor, at least to an extent, where quicker players are going to have more success against him, especially in these obvious passing situations. Mike Dana does a really nice job here on the stunt, recognizing that he's got the ability to kind of get up and around into the A gap. And if Chamari Connor could have just gotten in front of him a little bit longer, this would have been a sack for him for sure. And that's all I want to see, just a little bit more right there. He does attack him on that movement. So we're seeing that first movement reaction is pretty good. But you got to be a little bit, unfortunately, more patient in that situation, which is hard to be when the Atlanta Falcons are trying to throw the football everywhere to get these first downs. And you see, again, ball comes out quickly. It's okay. You're going to get beat from time to time. This does not take away from Chamari Connor's game. I know that the Drake London play later in the football game is one that we'll talk about maybe in the future. But right now, we know it happened. He should have had that pass breakup, and it should have been a tackle right there. Fortunately, it wasn't. So again, at the end of the day, when you got 10 tackles with 6 defensive stops, a pick, I'm going to give you a little bit of a break here. Turk Wharton was great in this football game, again, forcing this ball to be up into the air for Chamari Connor. Like, just watch this pass rush rep where he's going to take on Chris Lindstrom, who's a very, very good player going into the backfield here. And what I love about this pass rush is that he extends with his left arm and he throws Lindstrom into the backfield, essentially. Like, he just throws him right there, throws him off. And then he's able to close, almost getting the full sack. But fortunately for the Chiefs, this turns into an interception because Chamari Connor, once again, is in really good position. This is where he comes down. The Chiefs are rotating into a cover one look right here, at least one high safety. Chamari Connor is rotating down. So he was showing up there by himself, and now he's coming down more into the box to be a little bit of a robber where he's got eyes on receivers coming through. He takes anything that keeps going, and now he turns and keeps his eyes on the quarterback. Basically, he's looking for coming routes over the middle of the field, anything like that where he's able to break on the football. Now the ball's in the air, and Chamari Connor's just in the right spot at the right time. And then this is I have to get this ball out because I'm getting tackled. And we've seen this twice. It's funny how this game kind of mirrored that Miami game in week 9 last year so well because of the fumble recovery that was handed off to Brian Cook that ran in for a touchdown. And that does, once again, it shows you the different level that these defensive players are playing at in these games. And that's one of the huge reasons why the Chiefs offense doesn't have to be 100% lethal like maybe the Buffalo Bills or some of these other offenses have to be early on in the season because they can win with defense. They can win with defense. And again, watch the Turk Wharton getting into this chest right here. You got his hands underneath, but look at, never mind. I'm not gonna harp on it right now. There he goes, push off, and then boom, close. He's so quick. He's been so powerful, so effective with his hands in this season. Turk Wharton might be getting a huge contract extension from the Chiefs if he's going to play like this for the rest of going forward. As long as he's healthy, watch out. He's going to be a fantastic addition for this Chiefs defense, and he's still pretty young. So can't wait to see what happens here. This is, you guys know, it's the game-ending play. We've talked about this. I've seen Mitchell Schwartz break it down. One thing that I really appreciate about Nick Bolton is he doesn't forget. That dude does not forget anything. This is I believe it's the play that the Falcons scored on in the beginning of the football game. It was a touchdown to Bijan Robinson and close to the same play. And he knows right as it's coming that he's going to be able to make a play. So ideally, what they're trying to do once again is get a lead block from Tyler Algier to the outside where Bijan can either get to the outside, get the first down, or make a cutback because they're trying to open up a gap. And unfortunately for the Falcons here, right here, this is what they had to deal with. Leo Chenal blowing up this gap. Mike Pennell blowing back these guys. You've got defensive secondary members getting to the outside here. This is an impressive feat. And I want the Chiefs offensive line to pay attention to what they're doing on this play because it's exactly what you need to do on these short yardage situations. You have to go and be physical. This was never happening for the Falcons ever. This play was never going to happen for them. Not just because Nick Bolton, you see, he's pointing. He was already pointing. My guy was out here calling this out before anything happened. He knew exactly what was happening. And then again, you're going to see Leo Chenal down here, Mike Dana down here. That's why I couldn't see him the first time. He got down underneath that offensive lineman. And Mike Pennell, you guys aren't going anywhere. You're not cutting back because your offensive line is going to be in the backfield. And then you're going to have actual backside pursuit from Drew Tranquill. And just this is how you play defense. The pursuit, the physicality, Nick Bolton knowing exactly what's coming. The best case scenario, as Mitchell Schwartz has said, was that you get Tyler Algier meeting a head steam downhill Nick Bolton in the hole. That's a terrible situation for your offense to be in because Nick Bolton's coming with bad intentions. If he sees a lead blocker, you're not blocking him. There's nothing you can do on that play. He's going to blow it up. And this is how they've won games with their defense on the field. All right. And that's what you want. Granted, against the Bengals, it was the offense winning the game. And here in the final drive, it's the Chiefs defense doing what they do best in these end game situations, seeing, reacting, and being well studied. This is one of the most intelligent football teams in the NFL. I know the offense is not playing up to par at this moment, but the defense still is excellent. I don't think the Falcons score very many points in this game, if not for a couple blunders, and even for as smart as they are, they're going to have some miscommunications. Najee Johnson, I think, got better as the game went along. Look for him to maybe get more confidence in some of these situations because that missed pass off with him and Drew Tranquill. I know he was communicating to Drew, which I'm interested to see that dynamic and how that played out, but it felt like Drew maybe miscommunicated with Najee Johnson. But at the end of the day, these guys learn from their mistakes, as we just saw in that final play, where they can continue to always get better. And I can't wait to see what addition Jaden Hicks is going to be when they play him. But when we're looking at this defense, I understand why he's not playing a ton. Chamari Connor is playing at a fantastic level. He and Nick Bolton single-handedly had, I believe it was 13 stops, defensive stops, negative plays for the offense. They created those. So what a performance from those guys and really everybody on the defensive line, executing and not letting the Falcons run game blow this game wide open. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. And once again, if you're new to the channel, please hit that sub button. We're trying to get as many of you Chiefs Kingdom fans in here learning the game as we all want to learn the game and grow our knowledge as well as Rogue Nation here. So please hit that sub button. And I hope you guys, I was able to earn a like from you because that's what we're all trying to do here. We're trying to make it gets the algorithm going. We want to get more Chiefs fans in here. So that's just one way you can always continue to help us out. You guys, we'll see you back here with Gary's piece on Thursday. Ryan and I will have the game plan for Chiefs Chargers on Friday, and then we'll be on post game after the Chargers game on Sunday. Have yourselves a great rest of your day, and I'll see you.